If you had to, could you build an off-camera flash kit for under $200? One that would actually be great for taking portraits? I thought I'd challenge myself to do that, to come up with a kit for under 200 bucks. I'm not talking about building a toy kit or an emergency backup solution. I'm talking about building something solid and reliable and that I could actually create excellent portraits with. And I'm going to show you what I came up with, and we'll see if it all came together for under 200 bucks. And you can let me know what you think. All right. For this challenge, we're just going to assume that we already have a workable digital camera with a hot shoe. All right, so first up, we're going to need a light stand, okay? Now, I'm making this the first thing in the list because it's the foundation, literally, for the whole setup. The light stand cannot be some flimsy piece of gear because it is the thing holding up and supporting everything else. If your light stand fails, it all comes crashing down and you might end up damaging your flash. All right, so even though I started out thinking that I was going to have to make some compromises, I wasn't going to compromise on the light stand. I went with the same light stand that I've been using for a lot of my work for many years. And this is the Impact brand light stand, model number LS-8IA, which you can pick up from B&H or sometimes from Amazon. This is a sturdy, compact light stand. It's going to last you for years. It also meets with my minimum requirements for a light stand because it'll extend to about 8 feet and support 8 pounds of weight. The stand itself costs only 33 bucks, which is pretty amazing. All right, next we're going to need a flash bracket, and the flash bracket is mounted to the light stand and serves two main purposes, okay? Number one, this is where you mount the flash so that your flash can be placed somewhere off camera where you can light your subject. And two, it allows you to attach a light modifier like an umbrella or a softbox so that you can create a nice soft portrait lighting effect, if you don't want that harsh bare flash look. A flash bracket also allows you to swivel that flash and modifier combo so that you can angle it up or down so that you can direct your light where you need it. There's lots of different flash bracket options out there, but as many of you know, right now I'm pretty much recommending an S-type because it allows you to secure your flash in a safe way and it gives you the option to mount either an umbrella or a softbox with a Bowens speed ring. Now, you can pick up a standard Godox S-type bracket for 15 bucks or an S2, which allows you to use flashes with those, round flash heads for 25 bucks. Now, for the flash unit I picked out for this kit, we're only going to need the regular S-type, so that's 15 bucks. Speaking of modifiers, we're going to keep this simple. And, as nice as it is to have a softbox, and, there are plenty of benefits to having one, you don't really need one to create excellent portraits. A good translucent white shoot-through umbrella will do the trick. And I recommend anything from a 30-inch up to a 43-inch umbrella. That's the size that I usually use. Something like that will definitely work for you. Now, here's an Impact branded one, and it's, only about $13. A solid modifier, super affordable, so much so that you should have a few of these on hand. And, I've used these for everything from standard headshots to boudoir to group shots. These are great, and you can't beat the price. Can't go wrong with one of these. Okay, so we've got our flash stand, a flash bracket, and a modifier. So I think this is a good time to talk about a flash. And if you're doing portraiture in something like a home studio setup or an ultra portable setup for on-location portraits, you're going to be using manual flash settings. No TTL, just straight ahead professional flash techniques using consistent flash power settings for consistent results. Now, a good solid flash is all we need for something like this. And this one is perfect for our budget setup. This is the Godox TT600 Think Light. It's got the power that you need for a good flash portrait light. It's solid, portable, works with all the gear that we've talked about here, and you can grab one for about 65 bucks. Now, for 2 or 3 times that price, you can get something with a few more features and TTL and stuff like that, but we don't need that for this setup. This is a good, solid setup that can be used by, somebody who knows what they're doing or a professional. Definitely something that you can learn. So again, 65 bucks for the flash. Now, finally, you're going to need a way to control that flash or at least trigger it remotely so that it fires in sync with the camera when you press a shutter. Lots of ways you can remotely fire a flash. You can tell your flash to fire when it sees another flash fire. So that's, optical slave, triggering, Closely related to that is infrared signals from an infrared trigger on the camera to a compatible receiver on the flash. And there's also syncing with the physical cable. But these days, we like to use radio triggers because they are efficient, a lot more reliable than optical triggering, and they have a lot of capabilities for controlling one or multiple flashes at a time, and they're very cost effective. Now, there are two main flavors of radio flash triggers. There's the so-called dumb triggers, which just sync the camera to the flash. And with a basic trigger like that, you manually set the flash power on the flash unit itself. And when you take your shots, the dumb trigger will just tell the flash when to fire. There's nothing wrong with this type of trigger, by the way. It basically was the standard for a long time with a lot of professional photographers. Think of the longtime standard, the Pocket Wizard, for example. But now we have these smarter versions of the radio trigger that can control multiple flash units individually in multiple designated groups. And you can, from the camera position, remotely change a flash unit's mode and its power setting. And the trigger you use, it has to be compatible with your camera and flash units that you're using. So in this case, we're going to get a Godox trigger because you can control a wide variety of Godox and flashpoint flash units and strobes with a trigger like this. So for our setup, it only needs to control one flash, and we could have gone with the cheaper trigger, but since we're thinking ahead to when we have more flashes in our setup and we have some room left in our budget right now, why not a good smart flash trigger? Godox has a whole line of these. There's several really good ones, but in our price range, this one is perfect. It's the X2, not the latest and the greatest, but it does what we need it to do, and it comes in at less than 60 bucks. So that brings our grand total for this entire kit to around $186. And that's everything that you need to start shooting real portraits with off-camera flash. So I think I came up with a pretty good solution. Definitely one that I'd use, and I actually have used something like this, a very similar setup to this before. And, the reason that something like this is definitely going to work is because it's not, about buying expensive gear. It's about having something solid to work with and understanding how to use it on location, in a home studio, wherever you're working. Speaking of knowing what you're doing, I've got a way for you to quickly learn how to put these pieces together and actually use them for your first off-camera flash portraits. It's my free flash portrait quick start bundle, and it includes my 10-minute guide to off-camera flash. And this is going to help you get started right away, and you can grab it free using the link below. So yeah, less than 200 bucks, a real usable flash kit. And just remember, it's not about the gear. It's not about how much money you spend. It's about what you do with the gear that counts. Hey guys, if you like this video, don't forget to share it. Also, click that like button, subscribe, and comment. I do love to read your comments. Hey, that's about all I've got for you today. I'll see you next time.